Well, as Terry rightly says, I'm sure at the end of the day, if they get the 3 points and that 3 points takes them through, be it a 1-0 win or a 6-0 win, they'll be equally as happy.
This is the moment that all the fans love, the moment when the two teams emerge. So let's now join our commentary team, Ron Atkinson and first Clive Tilson.
Thank you, Bob. Good evening, everyone. Manchester United looking for a straight sets victory. 6-love, 6-2, 6 more. 2 Grand Slam wins over Brondby already this season in the pre-season friendly in July, and in Copenhagen again a fortnight ago, and another widely predicted. On form, it's almost a mismatch. The record books are open at United's page, just waiting for another entry. But when does it ever turn out quite like it's supposed to? This is still the world's premier club football competition, and Brondby here did beat Bayern Munich just 7 weeks ago. It's advantage United in this intimidating section. Their fate is in their own hands, but one rogue result would change all that. One wrong turning could knock them irretrievably off course, and they wouldn't be able to forgive themselves if they gave themselves an unforeseen handicap to take into their showdown meetings with Barcelona and Bayern Munich that remain in this group. Brondby will be shown no mercy tonight. Tonight's Manchester United lineup is arguably a fraction stronger than the one that won in Copenhagen. OK, Ryan Giggs, who scored the first 2 goals against Brondby, will miss the next month through injury. But both David Beckham and Dennis Irwin are back in harness now. Irwin displaces young Wes Brown tonight, the only change from the weekend win at Everton. Peter Schmeichel, who's a lot fitter than he was a fortnight ago, plays his 50th European club match for United, and of course Brondby. Their senior goalkeeper is out though. Danish international Mogens Krogh hurt his back in training here last night. So his long-time understudy, Amika Andersen, plays the biggest game of his life. At least the experience of the former Arsenal player, John Jensen, is restored to a midfield that has been stiffened with an extra man since that 6-2 defeat. Ron Atkinson, how will United counter that more cautious approach from Brondby tonight?
I think they'll just play their normal way. They won't go to the sound of the trumpets, but I think the 2 up front, I think Andy Cole and Dwight York will be the answer. I mean, they've already been described by the Brondby coach as possibly the best 2 in Europe. Maybe a bit premature for that, but I could never understand the doubts that people had about Dwight York linking up with Cole. People have said they're similar. They're not similar. They're totally different players. Cole likes to run towards the opposition goal. York is the sort of player that will drop off, link up with the midfield players, and then be quick enough to join back up with the front 2. I think it's a perfect blend.
There were nearly 52,500 inside Old Trafford for the visitor Bury last week. In charge in a similar atmosphere this evening is a young man from Slovakia. Lubos Michel is just 30 years of age. He's younger than 4 of the players who are on duty this evening. It's a brisk night in Manchester, but dry. It's a big night for him. Brondby stand-in goalkeeper, Amika Andersen. Peter Schmeichel, whose return in Copenhagen last time was after a 3-week injury spell. He's done a lot of full training since then, and Alex Ferguson's a lot happier with his form. Brondby will kick off. It's not quite fireworks night, but Manchester United are certainly expected to put on a display this evening. A properly supervised display though, one loose spark and the whole thing could go up in flames. Dennis Irwin back in the team at left back after playing 25 minutes at Goodison on Saturday. Forward towards Andy Cole. Came away from Dalgo to Roy Keane. Gary Neville alongside Jaap Stam at the heart of the Manchester United defence again. Roy Keane to Gary Neville. Here's Cole. Manchester United have won 5 of their last 6 games and scored 21 goals in the process. Great expectations of another hatful tonight, but actually goal difference is not initially a major consideration in who makes progress in the Champions League. Victory is the only big issue tonight. Here's Jon Jensen, cleared by Rasmussen up towards Ebersan, who will be a lone front man for Brondby. Pretty studied opening from Manchester United. They can't afford to do anything rash. Dwight York though. David Beckham. Little long for Andy Cole. Dealt with by Soren Kolik.
I think what you're seeing, Clive, is Brondby have signalled their intent. As soon as they lose possession, they'll get everybody back in their own half of the field, possibly with the exception of Ebbe Sand. And that's when United will have to show a lot of patience, but a lot of movement. The sort of movement they do an awful lot on the right-hand side, where Beckham pulls short for the ball, and Phil Neville, who's playing at right full-back, sort of runs long.
This is Bure. On the 2 occasions they played it up to Sand in the opening minute, he was unable to retain possession, and if that remains the pattern of the evening, then the ball is going to keep coming back at Brondby as quickly as they get it away. Rasmussen, their central defender.
Yeah, I think it's a hell of a hard job, you know, that lone striker. A lot of clubs are employing it, but I think the man that plays up there has to be a very technical player, somebody that can hang on to the thing and then enable and buy time for midfield players to get up in support.
Certainly Manchester United are not trying to rush Brondby here. Don't forget they scored in 75 seconds in Copenhagen.
Well, what they'll do, they'll pop it around, move it around, and hope that they can distract their attention. You know, maybe get a Brondby player just offside their goal, but maybe get a Brondby defender just losing his concentration. And you know, if you look at United, they've got firepower from all over the field. I mean, if you were betting on somebody to get the first goal for United, you'd be hard pressed. You know, if you look at the front 6 positions.
Going up towards Sand.
I'm just trying to think, has Jaap Stam scored yet since he's been here?
Not for Manchester United. He did get a goal for his country against Peru in a friendly international last month. Doesn't get on the free kicks for Manchester United. Owen to Keane, who seems to be setting the careful tempo.
Yeah, he'll just drop in, he'll just play the anchor job, particularly with Nicky Butler, and Scholes will get the responsibility of the central midfield players to run on.
Paul Scholes alongside Roy Keane at the heart of the midfield, out to Phil Neville.
This is possibly the sort of thing that Alex Ferguson's drilled into them for the last few years they've played in this competition. At times you have to be patient.
Irwin was just blocked. Hence the breakdown of the 1-2 with Blomqvist. So it's a free kick to Manchester United, which Beckham has gone across to take.
Stamp's coming in late in the hope that maybe he doesn't get picked up. No, he's opted out of it.
Here is Jaap Stam. Now Gary Neville. I can understand this modest start by Manchester United, but they can't afford to allow Brondby to feel at home. Here's York to Phil Neville. Just ran away from him somewhat. You sense a bit of a defeatist attitude in the Brondby camp of the things they've been saying prior to the game.
I was watching them in the kick-off, you know. The United lads did a lot of shooting in practice before the game. And 3 or 4 of the Brondby lads stood around and watched them almost like autograph hunters.
Scholes just trying to slip away from Dalgo, but the ball ran away from him.
There's one important thing you've got to remember, that they have at least got one terrific result in the tournament already, haven't they?
Ebbe Skodale is their coach. We saw United score 4 more at Everton on Saturday. He watched them put 5 past Wimbledon before the first game. been a glutton for punishment in the last couple of weeks. A bit more vocal encouragement for Manchester United. This is Scholes. Cole, who was being held there by Rasmussen. And so far, the standing goalkeeper has seen no action. Yet Stam is coming forward to try and change that.
I've seen Beckham dip them in from here before, from this range.
David Beckham. Oh, I said! And the goalkeeper still hasn't touched it. 6 minutes gone. And David Beckham has done to Brondby what he did to Barcelona here. And the first threat on the goal of the Danish champions has brought another goal to the right foot of David Beckham.
This is the one he gets up and down. There's a lot of people might run a finger against the keeper there and point the finger and say, hey, you've made a right rig there. But he gets an ugly, drops ugly just before it reaches him. Mind, it's still, if he'd been at the other end, we'd have expected Schmeichel to have got to it. But he's put that one up and down very quickly and got a little bit of skid off the floor. But I still can't believe, I know it's an old hobby horse of mine, I still can't understand why people don't put defenders on the line. Too many people score goals now from that situation.
Well, the Brondby first choice goalkeeper, Moonscrow, came here last night and during training he injured his back. I think he might have read the script. And his stand-in, Amika Anderson, quite literally found that his first touch was to pick the ball out of the back of the net. By Cole to Bagger.
You look at it now and you think the biggest problem United might have is that they get, I don't say complacent, but they might get so used to passing the ball to each other that they forget there's an end product to it. That at the moment would look to be the only danger.
Well, they haven't scored quite as early as they did in Copenhagen, but they are off to another excellent start here. Here's Beckham.
We'll also in the next few minutes see the height of Brondby's ambition, you know, because they set off with very much with a five-man midfield. I still think they'll retain that shape, but I just wonder whether they'll ask the wide midfield players to push on more.
Round into the path of Ebbe Sand, one and only frontman. Here is John Jensen. Bagger managed to force it into the path of Dalgo, who's the man who slipped that free kick past Schmeichel in Copenhagen 2 weeks ago and has made a run on into the box, which Gary Neville has checked. Bure, though, back to Dalgo. Good control from him. Bure has got a chance to cross. Roy Keane, very, very cool. Too cool by far. It's Dalgo now for Brondby. And Schmeichel trying to get amongst it, and somehow they've escaped. Moment of calm from Roy Keane, which was just too good to believe.
That's complacency, actually. No matter who you're playing in that position, you react quickly and defend. I'd love to have had a little radio on Schmeichel and Keane after that incident.
We'd have had to send the children to bed. Referee's just having a word with John Jensen, who's positioned himself on the goal line. It's in towards Dalgo at the near post. It's found a way through to Alan Round. And the header away is from Dwight York.
I thought they wasted quite a good opportunity there, Brondby, you know. Once Keane had made his Rick, I mean, the lad who got to the near post should really produce something better. I don't think he believed he could have got there.
Tackled by Scholes on Jensen. Keane is charging forward now as Cole finds York. Here is Roy Keane. Beckham is in the break too. It's tossed in towards Dwight York. It came off the defender and off the post. And still a chance. Cole it was who got in the shot. Per Nielsen was the defender who struck his own goalpost. I'm not sure this goalkeeper's touched the ball yet, has he?
No, I mean, that was unbelievable. I mean, you saw that as the cross came in, you know, Yorkie was sort of straining for it. You thought, oh, Yorkie's going to score here. Nielsen almost did the job for him. I think we should, when we see that again, you know, Bagger's made a great block there.
Went in towards York, terrific control from him. Support from Blomqvist. Now Scholes. Clearances by Rasmussen.
So we've just seen the best and the worst of Roy Keane, haven't we? Ricky made in his own end of the field, and the power and the surge and the precision cross there that almost put his side further in the lead.
And I think one led to the other.
Yeah, I think there was a little bit of adrenaline went with him.
I mean, if we're talking complacency, the very last man on the field, maybe in the country, you expect it from is Roy Keane, but he did it on the ball and survived. And Manchester United still lead from that early David Beckham free kick. Paul Scholes is on the ball. Here is Beckham. And out by Dalgo.
Well, that's a Tiger Woods job, that, isn't it? Oh,
A sandwich for Woods. Owen to Scholes. And again. Tackled by Rasmussen at the expense of a Manchester United corner. And this was the moment when Per Nielsen almost turned the ball past his own goalkeeper from Roy Keane's cross from the left-hand side.
checks it in and like, oh, Yorkie, it's Cole actually, he thinks it. Great block there by the number 15 Bagger. I think Andy Cole thought he was just a tap-in for him.
Beckham with a corner. Jensen defending the near post. Jensen again in the way. Breaking forward with Bure. Bagger is up too. Coling joining in, but running into Scholes. Blomqvist. Round couldn't quite cut it out. York and Cole are forward. Here's Andy Cole, left it for Dwight York. It's Andy Cole now. Oh, lifted the ball beautifully in for number 2. Exquisite finishing from Andy Cole. And Manchester United have got 2 inside of 13 minutes. And it looks like another romp for them.
And I'll tell you what, you look at this for understanding. I think that whether you probably have never worked at this before. A nice little step over. Yorkie puts it back in his back and he clips that in brilliantly. But I mean, that's all about smooth ball in, nice step over, nice little 1-2. Now look at the finishing. Excuse me. He's a little dummy, a little over it. And he's still got plenty to do there. The defender can't force him out. The keeper's nearly widened him. But I mean, that's tremendous, that is.
Well, Andy Cole was Dwight York's partner when he made his debut for Manchester United at West Ham in August, but then he lost his place to York, and it's only really last month that they came together again. 5 times they played together in the last month. This is number 6, and that is the 10th goal that they've scored between them in that run.
And that is a combination goal, isn't it, between them? All right, Blomqvist played his part with the nice little fed-in ball, but the work really was done between the 2 strikers. And even before the game, I saw them walking out together. They were close together, I understand. You know, they've got this little bit of chemistry, perhaps. But I always thought, I have to say, I always thought, Clive, that was the natural partnership, the natural pairing, those 2. I mean, he's played well with Solskjaer, hasn't he, Yorkie? But this is the pairing I always thought that Alex Ferguson would bring together.
Dalgo for Brondby. Scarvellis towards the head of San. Well, he's doing his utmost, but he's outnumbered. Foul on York. Brondby have hit upon hard times, beaten by Denmark's bottom club just days after Manchester United had finished with them last time. Upstaged by their city rivals FC Copenhagen, who held Chelsea and then moved in for Ryan Laudrup. It's Phil Neville, it's 3. It's raining goals at Old Trafford. 3 in the first quarter of an hour. Phil Neville Cole getting in on the act, only his second ever goal for Manchester United. They could have all scored before the night's through.
This is classic again. Follows his pass, nice 1-2, bounces the ball off Cole, slight deflection, but look, he feeds it in, confidence flowing, he's followed it in. There's the little deflection, does enough to take it around the keeper. But a great layoff from Cole here, from York, sorry.
It took Manchester United half an hour to score 3 in Copenhagen. They've done it in half the time tonight. And if this was a boxing contest, I think the referee will be stepping between the two opponents, as it is for 75 minutes to go.
Sorry, I remember when they signed York, you know, they talked to a keen Manchester United fan. And he wasn't convinced about the lad. I said, I'll tell you what, you thought Sparky Hughes was a great target man. I said the midfield and defenders will not know what they've got when they play with this fella.
Ebba Skodell doesn't know what he can do, because the latest piece of bad news for him is that John Jensen, his captain, is injured and struggling. Scarbelius. Phil Neville, the scorer of Manchester United's third goal, to Roy Keane. Incidentally, on John Jensen's back is his nickname. It's the brand of a Danish beer with which he was indoctrinated as a teenager when he first joined Brondby by having the quantity of it poured over his head. And now his nickname is what appears on his back.
Good job he wasn't Marmite, isn't it?
Beckham. On to Phil Neville. Beckham trying to take on Bagger. Keane has run away from him. Buer to Jensen. Never been a particularly fluid mover, John Jensen.
In a game like this, you know, where you're 3 down, you probably need your Johnny Jensens to get your goals, don't you, at this stage? Need his powerful burst from midfield.
Irwin. Now York. Beckham. Just rolled into the path for Blomqvist. They're opening doors all over the place here. It's Cole down to York and he miscued. He's still got the ball though. Blomqvist. York. Irwin bursting into the box. Dalgo got in a challenge, only for Blomqvist again though. Dug out towards Beckham. Jensen was there, York was there, it's Beckham again. Almost too many of them. Eventually deflected off round for a corner.
I'll tell you what, Phil Neville's got the urge now. He's playing out with Beckham for not laying a little ball off to him there. You're right, actually, now it's become too easy for them, but they've made it too easy. I mean, I suppose you look at it and say, well, United once beat Anderlecht, didn't they? 10 or something.
It was at Main Road. Beckham with the corner towards Yapstam.
Fancied him there, you know. Once he was in flight, I thought he'd be going to get his head on it and open his account.
Dwight York. Tackled by Bagger. Beckham. Cole. Brown got in a challenge. But Brondby roundly beaten by Manchester United a fortnight ago, upstaged in their own city by Copenhagen's result against Chelsea in that audacious move to take Brian Laudrup back to Denmark. Only 5,000 fans turned up for Brondby's last home game at the weekend. They are down on their luck, their stock is low at home, and what they did need was 3 goals putting past them in the opening quarter of an hour here. Dalgo though. A little bit of space for Soren Koling, the right back. Rolled in towards Eversand, and Yapstam did the sensible thing.
Certainly the best moment of the game then. Some good passing on this side of the field. A quick switch out to Coling. Coling's played a very good ball. This is a good, dangerous ball here. As you say, Stamp correct in his defending. Needed more belief in there to drive forwards into, or attackers into sort of scoring positions.
Per Nielsen, the central defender, is on the near post. Corner's taken by Bure. It doesn't reach Nielsen. York sees to that. Here is Bure, and here is York again. One back by Round. Bure. Now Sand. Nowhere much for him to go. Scholl's got in the interception. Beckham with the clearance. Cut off by Nielsen. Here's Jensen. Dalgo. Sand. Coling trying to get forward again. Crossed in towards Eversand and well fielded by Peter Schmeichel. But the more that Brondby commit to attack, the more likely it is that Manchester United will catch them on the rebound. Blomqvist on the ball. Irwin is up at his shoulder. 4 red shirts in and around the box. Blomqvist looking to feed them. Steers it into Andy Cole. Now by Round. Approaching the midpoint in the first half. David Beckham's free kick, followed by Andy Cole's goal after a delightful interchange with Dwight York, followed by Phil Neville's goal just 2 minutes later. Sand. Bagger. Well, he managed to get his shot away, and Peter Schmeichel not too happy about that.
Yeah, in all fairness, that was a decent chance. I mean, the last few minutes, whether United have just took the foot off the pedal a little bit or whatever, but he's cut in, and he's got a fair chance then of sticking that on target, Bagger. They've just made 1 or 2 breaks down the right side. Coling's produced a couple of balls into the box. Just, if you like, just change the impetus of the game a little bit, but there's an awful lot of changing to be done before they've got any chance.
It's funny, the bookmakers who usually get it right were tipping United by distance. In Laverick's odds for the correct score, 4-0, was joint second favourite at the start of the evening, just 8-1 against. They might have some recalculations at the moment. You could have 10-1 against any kind of win for Brondby, and this is a club that has won at Aberdeen and won at Liverpool and drawn at Arsenal in the last 3 seasons.
Tell you what, you should never predict things in football, but you can have any price you like for Brondby today.
Can now. Calder Key. Into York. Instant control. Phil Neville is the right winger. Andy Cole couldn't quite control the header. It's come for Jesper Blomqvist though. Irwin has got forward outside of him. It's all out attack from Manchester United. Andy Cole. And Amika Anderson makes a save at last.
Is that his first touch? I mean, that's some delightful football United are playing. Great little dig out by Dennis Irwin. Cole strains. Pity he couldn't have just got it to the side of the keeper, but let's give the keeper some credit on that. Some of the football, some of the one-touch passing of that is so slick from United at the moment.
Beckham with the corner. Came off to Dwight York, who was under sufficient pressure from Eversand not to be able to control his header. Alex Ferguson coming up to his 12th anniversary this coming Sunday. He succeeded my colleague here tonight on the 8th of November 1986. His first trophy took 3.5 years to come. There have been 8 more majors since then, but it is 8th attempt in the major club competition. He must feel as though Manchester United are better equipped than ever before to go the distance.
I mean, you look at them now and you look at their bench, for instance, the players that can bring into the side, and they've got plenty of everything. And you sometimes worry about the defensive frailties, and you get people like David May, who's played many good games for them in Europe.
Can't get on the bench tonight.
He never seems to get near it. I don't think he can get in the stand, can he? I mean, we've got that many good players about.
Stam to Phil Neville. Picked off by John Jensen. Sand back to Scarbelius. Here's Jensen. Somehow managed to pick out Bure in the crowd in midfield, and he's found Colling. Long goes Bure again. Owen it was who broke up the move.
Yeah, Bure's tucked in a little bit and he's dragging Blomqvist inside, and that's opening the space for Coleman.
Beckham just slipped as he played it, but he still picked out Blomqvist. Now Dennis Irwin. Paul Scholes.
Actually, Scholes has played a lot of holding stuff today, hasn't he? It hasn't been necessary to drive into the box as much as he normally does.
Phil Neville can't get in the box for fullbacks at the moment. United haven't scored for 10 minutes. Keane. Beckham. Put in possession by Jensen. Now Bagger. Past a lot of Bure. Down go to Jensen. Now Ruben Bagger. Down go into the path of Brown. Off Sand. Oh, he does carry the ball so well, Jesper Blomqvist, and he's so full of confidence. Beckham is free to his right if he sees him. Played slightly behind David Beckham. Oh, underneath the goalkeeper's body, and it's Dwight York's turn to get in on the act. Beckham's cross, York's header, goalkeeping error, 4-0 to Manchester United.
Yeah, well, this all starts with Blomqvist's driving run from one end of the field. He actually plays a little bit, he's got options here all over the field, but he plays this one a touch behind Beckham, plenty of space, gets it out of his feet early, just throws it in with that little bit of bend on it. Downward header, which we say is the hardest for keepers to deal with. Keeper should really have dealt with it, but he's probably shell-shocked.
Dwight York has scored 6 times in his last 7 games for Manchester United. Andy Cole has scored 6 in 6 since his recall, and that is a combination which is now feared not only throughout the length and breadth of this land, but one suspects throughout the length and breadth of Europe too. And look at that scoreline with less than half an hour play.
I'll tell you what though, it must be lovely, you know, if you're a striker and you see Beckham just shape and open his body as if he's going to just give it that little curly one, that little curly cross.
Here's Roy Keane. David Beckham. Dwight York. There has been talk in Copenhagen this week, as maybe Ebbe Skodel's last season in charge of Brondby. He may well be relieved if this is the level of competition they're facing when they step outside of their own country.
Having said that, you know, they've done well, haven't they, over the years. They've had some good European campaigns, considering, you know, the sort of competition they play in. I mean, they're just unfortunate tonight. They're catching United on a vintage night.
Manchester United got a problem with Phil Neville at the moment, who seems to be limping. But that's their only problem. Half an hour play.
Just looking down at the subs, you know, I think Alex Ferguson's biggest problem would be who to bring on. Whereas Brown, who I was amazed wasn't in the starting lineup anyway, has looked brilliant. He's got Young Curtis as well, plays an awful lot of games at right full-back.
Beckham into the path of Cole. Header away by Rasmussen, as far as Keane. York round in the way this time. Keane out towards Irwin. Just one cautionary note from Manchester United. There has been a goal in the Nou Camp Stadium, and Barcelona have taken the lead against Bayern Munich there this evening. Barcelona 1, Bayern Munich 0 is not the scoreline that Manchester United want, but if they can continue this kind of form through their Champions League group, it won't really matter what the others do. Wes Brown is imminent. This is Roy Keane, and now Dwight York, and now David Beckham. Shooting practice. Here comes the substitution. Phil Neville, having scored his first European goal for the club. After that lovely combination with Andy Cole to make it 3-0 with the help of a slight deflection. Has now left the field to be replaced by Wes Brown, who made his Manchester United debut in Copenhagen a fortnight ago. Neville, complete with ice pack, goes away to put his feet up. News on the injury front is that Ronnie Johnson played in a reserve team game last night, so he's not too far away from returning to the frame. This is Rasmussen getting forward, and Sand with a shot, saved by the footer Schmeichel. Bure now, out as far as Round. Coling is forward. And he's run the ball out of play. It's a hamstring injury which has taken Phil Neville out of the reckoning, but Ebba San almost gave Manchester United a reminder then.
Yeah, it was a decent chance, this. I mean, if the score had been 0-0, full marks to the goalkeeper, Big Schmeichel managed to get a block on it, but that was a good chance. I mean, even though they've been completely outclassed, for me they've had two, well, it says one shot on goal, one went wide, in it from Bagger, but they've had two decent opportunities, which proves at any level, you know, you'll always get a chance. Well, it's about 6 they want now. They want about 6 sitters.
Beckham. Scholes. Here's Brown. Goals really have been flying in for Manchester United. Their goals per chance ratio in the last few weeks has been fantastic. Cole. Stopped by Scarbelius. This is Bagger, fouled by Brown.
Tell you, it has been surprising for me. I expected Brondby to sort of block the middle of the field and get in a load and break the game up a lot. I don't think they've hardly got a challenge in, you know. Now, a lot of that's due to the fact that probably they're not on the front foot enough, but I think an awful lot of it's due to the slickness of United's passing, particularly the one touch.
Round into the path of Coling. Dalgo. Bure. Coling. Out to Jensen. Dalgo. For a moment John Jensen was going to get into the penalty area himself, but he set up Kim Dalgo instead. I was speaking to Jensen yesterday, and he is actually wearing under his Brondby shirt a T-shirt from his Arsenal days which reads, "I saw John Jensen score." It was a product that was brought out in recognition of that one and only goal that he scored in his 4 years at Highbury. 98th time of asking. Jensen losing out to Keane. Gary Neville. Jesper Gromqvist. Now Paul Scholes. Stump. Beckham. United really are now toying with their opponents.
Yeah, but this is with a purpose, by the way. They're not. This isn't just indulging themselves. It's with a purpose. They're trying to pop it about and try and distract the Brondby defence and get them to lose that concentration.
Not into Bure. Rolling with a chance to cross over Bagger. Dalgo trying to make something of it. Scarbelius has gone forward outside of him. Dalgo's cross.
Yeah, the real threat seems to come down the right-hand side, doesn't it? It looks very much as if even the left-sided players, particularly Scarbelius, all want to turn it back on the right foot. They can attack down the right side with Coling, who does show willingness to throw the ball into the box with a bit of quality.
Brondby coach Emma Skodell. Very little that he can do from his side of the white line. What advice can you offer a team 4 down with more than half of the match to go at Old Trafford?
There was snow this morning. Apparently there was snow in this area. He needs a hurricane, doesn't he?
This is Irwin. Hung up for Dwight York. Header away by Scarbelius. Scholes. Keane. Rasmussen rather anxiously. Round on as far as Beckham.
Well, Round will be relieved, isn't it? Because if there's one fella you want to make a rick of in front of about 25 yards, 30 yards out and lay a little ball to, it's Beckham.
You really do feel that 1 or 2 of them could fill their boots tonight. It's November the 4th, but the pyrotechnics have begun at Old Trafford. Gary Neville with a loose ball, seized upon by John Jensen. There's a foul there by Roy Keane. Jensen actually missed the first match through suspension, and the second yellow card that he picked up for Brondby in Barcelona was for diving in the opponent's penalty area. The joke was that he just ran out of oxygen because he wasn't used to being that far forward.
You could say a few things about John Jensen. I don't think diving's anything you put into his category, would you?
Well, he's had a decorated career with Brondby. This is his 400th game for them tonight. His 3rd spell with the club. He went away to Hamburg and away, of course, to Arsenal. But he has won 8 Danish championships with his club.
He's also won the European Championship, hasn't he? Which is
scored a goal in the final against Germany.
Not Germany can lay claim to that.
Arsenal signed him. They thought he was going to start popping them in from all over the place. He actually hit the post against England in that tournament too, I recall. He's got that T-shirt on just in case he unleashes one tonight. I'm sure he'll parade it for us. It's Manchester United are parading their skills for the moment. Beckham, Cole, Neville and York. It's 4-0. Keane. Brown. York is to his right, Cole is ahead of him, Beckham just inside here. Prepared to go back, to come forward. Trying to draw Brondby out, but they've dug their trenches. Damage limitation is the name of the game now for the Danish champions. Lundqvist. York. Scholes. Brown is getting forward. Scholes' pass asked a little bit too much of him. Scarbelli is able to shepherd the ball out of play.
I'd say for me the biggest problem United will have is getting bored with the game. It seems strange that European match with like 50-odd thousand in here, but there's so much in command of the game. The game's won, isn't it? Are you looking for landslides, miracles or whatever now to give Brondby any chance of getting back in the game?
honours thus far. But unlikely to be the end of the story.
They've scored 10 goals in the 2 games already they've played against Brondby. And Brondby, let's point it out, aren't the worst side that ever appears in European matches.
York to Blomqvist. Taking on Koling, and he has the beating of the Danish World Cup fullback. Irwin. Blomqvist. Run into Jensen. Blomqvist managed to atone for his error. Beckham into the path of Key. Now Scholes joining in. Now York. Picked off by Scarbelius. Dalgo. Chance maybe for Brondby to break here. They've got 5 in the counter-attack. This is Ruben Bagger. What a challenge by Wes Brown. He seemed to go over the wrong foot, but he got the ball. Beckham. The diagonal passes for Andy Cole. The header is towards Dwight York. It's cleared by Rasmus.
That's probably the biggest single difference between Cole and York there. York couldn't make up the ground quite as quick as Cole can on the little knockdown header. But this is what
to York.
I tell you what he hasn't done. I haven't seen him do it yet for United. That little trick of his. This is the sort of position, that part of the pitch where it's shaped to throw a ball in and then do a little drag on it. It scoops it round. It's something the old Trafford faithful haven't quite seen yet. I'm sure he's got one in his locker there.
I think the stage is set for the tricks. This is Wes Brown with one of his own. Brought down by Alan Round. Brown couldn't quite hurdle the challenge.
Sensible refereeing though, that he knew full well that Round hadn't gone in with any intent. He's just been beaten by a better player or a quicker player.
Yapstam and Wes Brown are inside the Brondby penalty area here. David Beckham will deliver. Oh, well, Dwight York was being marked by Wes Brown. That there wasn't a Brondby player in sight. If anything, Brown got in his way.
I tell you, the ironic thing about that is, as you say, the 2 United players have put each other off. Now, it's not very often you head it down and then it bounces over the bar, particularly when it's not, you know, fairly soft underfoot.
It's fair to say that Brondby have had their best European results away from Copenhagen in recent times. 7 wins in the last 3 seasons on their travels. They won in Kiev last year. They beat Karlsruhe 5-0 in Germany the year before. They won at Anfield, won at Pittodrie. But Manchester United really do seem to have caught them on a down curve. And they're defending here. And in Copenhagen a fortnight ago has left a lot to be desired, and Manchester United have made hay.
I think those facts you've just read out signify, though, that you know, they have been capable in the recent history of dealing with very, very good teams.
Beckham forward towards Brown. Managed to ride the challenge somehow. Cole with a rather loose layoff towards Keane.
That's the sort of thing that might happen when you're so much in control. There's been 1 or 2 untidy layups now. Yorkie's had a couple. That one a Cole.
Koling, Bagger letting it run for Jensen. Now Ruben Bagger. Brown with another immaculately timed challenge. Beckham looking to get it forward early towards Cole, who just lost the flight of the ball as it dropped over his shoulder. Ron, have you ever had to give a team talk for a team 4-0 down? And if so, what did you say?
I'm just trying to think. I think I did once against Notts Forest. I think we played when Cloughie's Forest, I think, were 4 up against us. No, they were 3 up. But they scored a 4th, and the referee blew for half-time as it was going in the net. A Kenny Burns special.
Well, the good news for Bromby is only 1 extra minute to play. This is Cole, and now York. Dwight York again. Laid off to Dennis Irwin this time. Header away by Rasmussen. Little rip and applause for that. Lovely bit of juggling by Dwight York.
I mean, you could say to the players, look, you really are the better team, but somehow I don't think they quite believe you. They look at you as if you're going crackers.
Well dealt with by Gary Neville. Just run away from Roy Keane. Ebersan got it back. This is Ollie Buer. Ruben Bagger. So Alan Round. Well, he did score a spectacular goal to win the game against Bayern Munich. It is just 5 weeks ago. It seems almost inconceivable now that this team, which has been so completely outplayed by Manchester United, were capable of beating Bayern Munich. But Beckham and Cole, Phil Neville has been substituted, and then Dwight York, all scored in the opening half hour here for Manchester United, who are rampant again at Brondby's expense, and at halfway lead by 4 goals to nil.
Stuff. He's done his great bit for us. He gives Jordi that 45 minutes, which will help him also.
It's some half that was, wasn't it? It takes all the stress out of your job, that does.
Well, it was marvellous football, and I must say our players' concentration and commitment was fantastic.
How do you keep the goals coming now for us?
Well, I think we just got to make sure we don't let the standard of the game drop. I think they want to maintain a real good standard and maintain the rhythm we've got, which has been very good, and just keep it disciplined.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Jordi Cruyff then for Jesper Blomqvist is Manchester United's half-time substitution. And Cruyff will operate and Blomqvist's patrol on the left-hand side. Even in a group as tight as United's, goal difference is unlikely to become a deciding factor, at least not the goal tally against Brondby anyway. If they find themselves level on points with Bayern or Barcelona, it will be United's results against that team which would then determine their fate. Here is Jordi Cruyff to Paul Scholes, led by York, trying to link up with Andy Cole again. It will come for David Beckham. Crossed in towards York. Anderson wasn't too certain, but managed to fend it away in the direction of John Jensen. But thinking back to earlier this year, to last season, when Ryan Giggs missed that 6-week spell between February and the start of April, that was when Manchester United went out of Europe, went out of the FA Cup, and really lost their grip on the Championship. And Blomqvist has certainly given them a new option when Giggs is missing, as he's going to be not only for this game, but for Manchester United's next match in Europe in Barcelona.
Well, it means with him, they don't have to alter the shape, do they? They can play exactly the same shape, and even now, I mean, who's to say that Cruyff isn't, Jordi as he's shirted up, isn't about to produce whatever potential he's got.
Buer with a corner kick for Brondby. Towards Per Nielsen, and Bagger was almost in. Roy Keane did some good defending actually on the far post to make it as difficult as he could for Ruben Bagger. The decision has gone Manchester United's way.
Yeah, there's the little skim header, and Nielsen, Bagger's been robbed by Keane. I don't think Keane's been given the credit for that challenge.
Barcelona leading Bayern Munich by a goal to nil at the Nou Camp Stadium this evening, scored by Giovanni in the first half. Manchester United leading Brondby here by 4 goals to nil, and already we're starting to lick our lips in anticipation of that encounter in Catalonia in 3 weeks' time. Where's Brown? Fairly comfortable clearance for Nielsen, but Beckham has quickly seized upon the ball, and here's Dwight York trying to spin. John Jensen came between he and York, but it's reached York eventually. Jensen is there again, and cleared by Soren Koling. Ebersan just holding off Stam for the moment. Bagger into the path of Round. Plenty happening to his right. Koling making the overlapping run. Buer is onside here. In towards Sand, headed away by Stam. And claimed by Beckham, and Manchester United can break with York. Beckham looking longer for Cole this time, finding only Soren Koling. Under pressure from Cruyff, he's given it away to Dwight York. Now Cole. Rolled in towards Jordi Cruyff. Koling managed to get there. Cruyff, though, retrieves the ball. Dalgo comes forward for Brondby.
I think what the Old Trafford fans will be looking for as well is the fact that in the couple of previous games they've played here, they've gone off the ball in the second half, haven't they, United?
This is Dalgo. Run off the ball by Roy Keane. Jordi Cruyff, who certainly won't let the tempo slip if he's to further his own personal claims. David Beckham. But Manchester United have now scored 25 goals in their last 5.5 matches, and already in this Champions League group they've scored 15 goals in 3.5 games, and nobody in the short history of the Champions League has ever scored more than 15 goals in a 6-game group section. So another little entry into the record books is beckoning Manchester United after that record Champions League away win in Copenhagen 2 weeks ago. This is Bure. Round. Bure again. Offside. And I can tell you, in fact, there's been another goal in Barcelona tonight, and Bayern Munich have now equalised in that game. Barcelona 1, Bayern Munich 1. A scoreline early in the second half in the Nou Camp, and that really would complete Manchester United's night if that game was to finish all square. The two obvious rivals in the group would almost be cutting each other's throats, and Manchester United would be left with a scenario that if they drew their last 2 games against Barcelona and Bayern, they would be through. That's an if for now. A few ifs and buts left about the outcome here, but it's 1-1 in Barcelona. Keane to Irwin. Managed to get enough curl on the ball. To Soren Koling, 2 players who have been linked with English clubs in recent weeks. The right back here, number 14, Koling, and the centre forward, number 12, Sand. And there's a feeling in Denmark that if, as expected now, Brondby go out of the Champions League, they may be allowed to leave during the winter break in Denmark. Both played for Denmark in the World Cup finals. Down to Gary Neville. Lifted into the path of Dennis Irwin, just ran away from him.
That's a move United are doing more and more this season, particularly in European games, you know, with a wide player pulls towards his own midfield player, and then the full-back comes whipping around the back.
Jensen caught in possession by Beckham, dancing his way through and trying to curl it around Anderson, but unfortunately round the post.
That would have been one for his scrapbook. A nice little dribble, then one of those little curly ones round the corner. Had a little bit of luck with the first one. Evades the defender nicely. Knows what he's doing. Can't quite get enough curl around the ball.
It was Beckham's free kick after just 6 minutes, which set Manchester United on their way tonight. They scored 3 times in the opening quarter of an hour. Andy Cole and Phil Neville adding to the tally. Dwight York just before the half hour. 4-0 they lead. It was 3-0 at the break in Copenhagen. Irwin with a challenge. Koling trying to play it square to the other fullback, Scarbelius. Cole intercepted. Emeka Anderson here, the stand-in goalkeeper, must certainly owe a great debt of gratitude to the first-choice goalkeeper who cried off last night. He actually came on at half-time in that pre-season friendly between these two teams in Copenhagen, and the score was 2-0 then, and he let in 4 in the second half. So he's played 2 halves of football against Manchester United, just the 8.
So there's no way he'll be phased at all or anything like that. He'll be
He's consistent. Gary Neville. Roy Keane, put up by John Jensen. Now the Sand trying to make something of it. He is strong in possession, looking to feed Ruben Bagger. Stam just moved through the gears pretty quickly. Sand's picked up an injury there. Andy Cole.
I think when we're talking before in the first half about what you would say at half-time, I think the managers probably said, look, you know, there's pride to play for, there's no chance of winning it, go out and have a right go, and there does seem to be a bit of a lifting in that. There's nothing tactically altered apart from the fact maybe they're trying to play a few more through balls. There's one.
Jensen to Dalgo. Got his shot away. Gary Neville managed to get in a blocking challenge, and Brondby do have a corner.
Yeah, that's about the third time since the half began that they've tried to thread through balls through the United defence, but they seem to have gone up a little bit of a gear. I just wonder whether United have had one of those second half sleeping in periods again.
Per Nielsen is forward from the back of the near post. Buer with a corner. It's angled back towards Coling to strike.
It's a nominated one as well. Buer's missed everybody out to go for Coling to give it a big Buddy Holly there, and he's certainly cracked it.
Andy Cole's evening is coming to an end here, and Ollie Solskjaer is going to take his place. Cole, who scored his 9th goal in the European Cup for Manchester United this evening, he's moved level with Ryan Giggs and George Best on that mark, 5 behind Manchester United's record holder in the competition, Dennis Law. Ollie Solskjaer has taken over from Andy Cole. Got a hat-trick in Rotterdam, this time last year in the competition. Dwight York here has a new partner now, Ollie Solskjaer, who wasted no time in scoring in Copenhagen. It's Beckham. Emerald Waves by Round. This is Sand. Coling. Looking for Sand again, but never going to manage to thread the ball beyond Gary Neville. Andy Cole taking his break. Slight muscle pull accounts for his early departure. Kim Dalgo was offside there. Lundqvist, incidentally, was one of the 3 players who've been replaced who isn't injured. Phil Neville and Andy Cole have picked up slight problems, both hamstring problems. But Ronnie Johnson is just about ready to resume. Teddy Sheringham will be another couple of weeks. Giggs a month or so. Back up into the path of Jensen inside the Manchester United penalty area. Oh.
Well, they've certainly caused more problems this half. They've pushed people forward more. They've tried to produce a ball in the last third once or twice, and normally through trying to play through people.
He's having a good chuckle about that. He actually scored Brondby's first ever goal in Europe, would you believe, John Jensen? It was a long time ago, 1985. Do you know how many goals he's scored in Europe since then? Here's the up-stump. Wes Brown. David Beckham. Dwight York, just a little too clever. Brown saw that coming. Bagger to Sand. Now to Buer. Here's Dalgo. Behind you. Cruyff it was, tiptoeing up to pick his pocket. Stamp. Beckham. York. Let it run for Solskjaer. Now Dwight York again. Move developing beautifully. Dennis Irwin joining in. Rolled into Solskjaer, and now York, and now Solskjaer. Well, it was a classic build-up as far as it went. Buer it was to support the party. It's found a way through to Dalgo. Now Jensen. Sliding challenge by Gary Neville, didn't quite get the ball. This is Bagger. go, he has Scarbelius making a run outside of him. Now run offside. John Jensen. He did play a 1-2 with Sand, but Gary Neville propelled himself in front of Sand to make it difficult. Extraordinary story about Sand, because following the World Cup finals, he was diagnosed as suffering from testicular cancer and had to have a very serious operation. But the extraordinary thing was that 16 days later, he was back playing football against Bayern Munich. 1-2 between Solskjaer and Cruyff. Goalkeeper lost it, defender managed just to find it, and Rasmussen cleared. Per Nielsen was the man who got in the way.
Pleased to see Cruyff do this, because I just wasn't looking at him. He's been very indifferent since he came on. He seems to have had an energy crisis of some sort, whereas early on Blomqvist was infectious and running about and busy and bright. Jordi hasn't sort of picked up any tempo at all, and that might have done him a bit of good, that little run there.
David Beckham with the corner. Cruyff at the near post, turned away by John Jensen. Dennis Irwin back into the path of David Beckham. Scholes is there. Appeal for handball against Rasmussen. The referee was very well placed. Keane won it back momentarily. Daugo did well. Sand. Stride away from the upstart. Wes Brown. Now played. Manchester United, who scored 4 times in the opening half hour of the game, haven't added to their tally in the 2 15-minute periods either side of half-time. Gary Neville forward. Scarbelius allowing the ball to bounce. The goalkeeper wasn't quite sure whether to come or not. There was a handball there and a free kick against Dwight York. He doesn't think it was his arm. It's been the wettest October on record in Manchester. That's wet. It's raining in November. Sand with the header on. Neville standing his ground against Jensen. A rather untidy pass by Stam, and Manchester United have gone down a gear here.
Passes haven't quite got the same ship. I mean, they can still be patient and play the ball around.
Cruyff was fouled by Round. Alex Ferguson feels that Jordi Cruyff is now starting to find his true form for Manchester United. This is Paul Scholes. He's worked his way into a dangerous position here. It's Scholes all the way! Lovely solo goal for Paul Scholes. Manchester United have scored 5. And Scholes, well, that was all his own work.
The strange thing, Boy, we were saying earlier, he's not been in the penalty box tonight. But look at him go here. He gets a stumble, a dribble, little feint, little stab, tucks it away, ignores Beckham's on the outside of him here. Gets the look of the draw there. He cannons off the guy's heels, stumbles back inside him. Another trick, tucks it away nicely.
He's now scored against all 3 teams in the group, against Barcelona, against Bayern Munich, and here against Brondby. He was like a slalom skier going in and out of the sticks, wasn't he? Manchester United 5, Brondby 0.
And it's strange, isn't it, because that's his forte for me, supporting the front players, getting in, but he's been very unselfish tonight. He's been like a continuity player in midfield, just kept the thing ticking over.
I'm afraid we can't fit the names in anymore. And just as a little addition to that, that's his Manchester United's 16th goal in the competition so far, and that is a record already with 2 games to go for the number of goals scored by a team in a Champions League group. This is Dennis Irwin. Paul Scholes. Dwight York. Now Beckham. In towards Scholes again, he took that away from Solskjaer, who was much better placed.
I mean, that was some great little link-up. First of all, between Scholes and York, then this lovely curling cross. I would actually like to have seen Paul Scholes nick in front of the number 15 there, and maybe try and distract him a little bit. That would have spaced the box very, very nicely. Would have given Solskjaer a chance at the second post, and he'd have probably scored at the near post.
I think that's what only Solskjaer would have liked to have seen too.
But that was a result of some super link-up play there between York and Scholes. And the inevitable curling cross from the right-hand side.
Just a reminder that in the Nou Camp Stadium, it's Barcelona 1, Bayern Munich 1 tonight in the other match in this group. We won't tell you the latest from Kiev because you can see extensive highlights of Dynamo Kiev and Arsenal in our late programme this evening on ITV. Duggar into the path of Coley. This is Buer, who actually bent out of play. Paul Scholes has been almost saved for Europe this season. He's only started 5 Premiership games. It's his 6th European match of the season. How do you stop this kind of balance and trickery?
He's actually a throwback there to the old street footballer, the little, if you like, the little imp that's always just dribbles. First pick in anybody's team, the dribble.
Keane for Manchester United, whose goal scorers tonight are Beckham, Cole, Phil Neville, York and Scholes so far. This is Cruyff. Beckham. Scholes just trying to turn that on with his chest. Scarbellius unable to get it clear. Beckham down to Brown. Now Scholes. Fed Beckham, walked in low, but Anderson managed to hang on. Sand ploughing that lonely furrow up front for Brondby. Seen off by Gary Neville. Just keeping Peter Schmeichel involved. Scholes. Keane. And Cruyff. Into York. Beckham is available on the touchline. Taking on the fullback Scarbellius. Such as Beckham's crossing ability, he doesn't really need to go past his man. He's guided this one back to Stamp. Now Brown. Stamp forward towards York. Brown is involved in the attack. The little back heel was meant for him. Wes Brown might still get there. Rasmussen just managed to hurl himself in front.
Some great patient football there wasn't there? And the through ball from Stam into York, the super little trick, little back heeler off to almost got Wes Brown in.
Solskjaer. This is Roy Keane now getting in behind Brondby. Clip towards Cruyff at the far post and turned away by Rasmussen. There's a lovely flow about Manchester United when they get their passing together, and I think the only impatient people inside the stadium are those of us who are looking on, looking for more goals. Manchester United are taking their time and quietly pulling Brondby apart. The Danes are going to make a change and bring off Ruben Bagger. His replacement on the left of midfield will be Jesper Thusen. I suppose in a sense Manchester United want to humiliate Brondby in the hope that they might just somehow nick a point off Barcelona or Bayern Munich in the remaining games. Seems a faint hope the way things are going here. Beckham with the corner. Not claimed by the goalkeeper, under pressure from both Stam and Solskjaer. Brondby's next appointment is in Munich in 3 weeks' time, and then they're at home to Barcelona in their final match.
They'll want to get the scalp of Barcelona, though. They'll want that. They won't lie down and die, regardless of the state of play in the Champions League then. And it's like Man United. It's always a big scalp if you can take it.
This is Stout. Scholes making a break down the centre of the field. Per Nielsen getting in front of him, though. Skarbelius, who's a Lithuanian international, to John Jensen, the familiar Danish international. He's given it away to Jordi Cruyff. Gary Neville. Paul Scholes. Jordi Cruyff. Scholes has made a break down the centre. Pass was just deflected on its way through by Round. Saw that quickly in. Dwight York, men either side of him. Clipped in towards Solskjaer with a real chance now. It's a good recovery by the defender Rasmussen. Solskjaer quite set himself up with his first touch. Look at the space.
Yeah, it's unbelievable vision though from Yorkie. You think he's focusing on the ball, you think he's trying to engage the defender. All along he knows that Solskjaer's overloading at the far post.
20 minutes remaining. Manchester United 5 goals to the good. Beckham's cross with the flick from Cruyff, and York almost inadvertently has managed to force himself in front of Sand and look to get some kind of contact, but it wasn't quite the right kind of contact.
Yes, he'd have had to have had some reactions there, wouldn't he? I mean, there's a crowd saying, little nick on. It's still a decent chance, to be fair. He's tucked those away when probably if it had been 0-0, he'd have tucked that away. Saving that for later in the competition.
It's 10 years ago since Graham Taylor spotted him on Aston Villa's tour of the West Indies at the end of the season. All those stories about how he used to sell land crabs to tourists to pay for football boots in Tobago.
That was the year before last, by the way.
Come a long, long way in every sense since then, Dwight York. Here is York. Beckham taking over, trying to slip it through to Solskjaer. Given away by Jensen, seen by Brown again, given back to Round though.
Tell you what's good about this kid, Wes Brown, you know. That's not his best position, of course, right full-back, but he's always on the front foot. He's so quick across the first few yards.
He's a centre-back by trade, yes, Rob?
Yes, yeah. And given, without putting too much on him, given our average luck, he's going to go the whole hog.
Here is Wes Brown, a boyhood Manchester United fan from the Longside area of this city. Whilst Manchester United have picked up young talent like David Beckham here from further afield, the fact is that the core of the young players who've come through so spectacularly in recent times are from Greater Manchester. Björk. Sand. Dalgo. This is Thyssen. Intercepted by Irwin. And Wes Brown clears. Are you City in disguise is the chant from the Manchester United supporters. Thyssen. This is Sand. Skarbelius. Well, in the end, he just had nothing else available to him. Auri is his Christian name. Auri Skarbelius. Played for Lithuania against Scotland in the World Cup, in the European qualifiers earlier in the season. "21-year-old Soren Kroh is going to come on. He's a winger. This is Skulls. Solskjaer. Manchester United still one short of their tally in Copenhagen. Young Kroh is now going to appear, having played the last 15 minutes of the matches against Bayern Munich and Barcelona. He's going to replace Ollie Bure here at Old Trafford for a similar period. David Beckham standing over the ball, a little bit further out than he was for the goal which triggered the night, and so just coaxes it in towards Cruyff. It's met by the head of Koling. This is Irwin, and now Stam have gone forward. Nielsen. In the shadow of Jaap Stam. I've noticed you around. Back into Skulls. Brown. Solskjaer let it run. This is York. He wanted Keane to take over and he couldn't quite get the ball out from under his own feet. Dalgo challenged by Irwin. Jensen allowed to go on. This is Sand. Minutes remaining. Manchester United 5 goals to the good. David Beckham, Andy Cole, Phil Neville, Dwight York, Paul Scholes. So many names we can't fit them on the screen. They're the goal scorers. Manchester United supporters in this vast gallery just sitting back now waiting for more. Looking long towards Solskjaer. Scarbelius cleared by Kusen. Scholes. Stam prodding it forward. Scholes outnumbered. Keane penalised. Now Koling. Picked up by Beckham. Long towards York. Per Nielsen just managed to clip the ball out of his path. Brondby meanwhile are going to make their final substitution. Place a forward for a forward. Ever Sand giving way to Bo Hansen. Hansen, who's a regular partner for Sand in Danish football, but they've sacrificed a forward in 3 of their 4 Champions League games so far. Felt they were too adventurous against Manchester United in Copenhagen a fortnight ago by playing both.
So they decided to tighten up tonight.
Yeah, only 5 in so far. I can't help but feeling that this is a bit of a knock-on from that victory that Manchester United had 2 weeks ago. It's a rather humiliated Brondby who came here really with a lot of negative thoughts in their minds tonight. This is Dalgo. Bo Hansen, the substitute.
Just to take that a point further, Clive, it's quite feasible, you know, that the pre-season match may have had a bearing as well.
It didn't help Brondby's confidence going into the game 2 weeks ago, because it was on the same ground, the Parken Stadium, the National Stadium in Copenhagen. That was the end of July. Manchester United won 6-0 then. 2 weeks ago, 6-2. Tonight, 5-0. This is Kroh, though, with a cross. Stam had to deal with it.
Dealt with it very well, because that was an excellent cross.
Alan Round. John Jensen. It's down there again, won the ball. Crossed in by Scarbelius towards Crow. But no examination of Peter Schmeichel's credentials tonight. 35 in 2 weeks' time. The Manchester United goalkeeper, his understudy, Raymond van der Houw, is actually a little older than Schmeichel.
You even sense now that the United lads would want it all over now. Saturday's the next game is the one we're looking at now. Sunday, isn't it, Newcastle?
They play here against Newcastle on Sunday, yes. And then have another Worthington Cup match next week against Nottingham Forest, in which we're likely to see the likes of Wesley Brown here.
Just having a look, it's a safe bet you'll only see 3 of those, I would think.
This is Round. Wrong-footed stab. He's got support. Tried to put it back towards Crow. Dennis Irwin pushed him out of harm's way. John Jensen. Crossfield pass towards Soren Colin. He's gone on the outside of Cruyff. It's Colin for Brondby. It's gone all the way through to Jensen again. Colin is still forward. Beckham hasn't quite cleared his lines yet. There's a foul there by Colin on Scholes.
He's very happy at Colin, running into the last third, the attacking third, and producing a ball. Done it on several occasions. This one scalps across. Have a look at Bo Hansen here. He accelerates well. Bo Hansen checks out, and he wants a cutback, and Colin's just gone for a blast across the face. Just hoping somebody can get a tuck in there.
Last 10 minutes. Will Manchester United add to their total? 6-0 is the largest victory that any team has ever scored in the Champions League. 7 is the largest total Manchester United have ever scored in a European game here at Old Trafford. But those kind of statistics will not be uppermost in the minds of these young players who have again performed outstandingly well and now know that whilst Barcelona and Bayern Munich still stand in their way, that they are now capable of rubbing shoulders with those great European names.
By the way, this scoreline will have a big effect as well as on those people. Have a look at that, because they know Brondby aren't anybody's pushovers normally.
Tuesday in towards Crow, and a shot from Dalgo, and there was an offside flag, was there?
I think they're looking for a push. I think they think that Crow has possibly pushed Irwin in the back here, is it? I think that's what they're claiming for.
It certainly wasn't offside. It came off Irwin anyway. The linesman did raise his flag on the near side. I think just the formality of signalling that the ball had crossed the line for a goal kick. Well, he doesn't usually see the funny side of chances conceded by Manchester United, but he is so relishing this Champions League campaign at the moment. Terry Venables said at half-time, aching for victory. Success in this Premier competition, and he must feel as though it's possible. We waited a long time for any kind of English success in this competition. Arsenal, Leeds, Manchester United all failed to get past the last 16 in the first 3 years. And Manchester United failed at the group stage in '94, Blackburn in '95, but since then a semi-final and a quarter-final for Manchester United. This year it's a two-pronged English assault and the great prize. He was actually against the idea of runners-up being admitted to the Champions League. He was against it at the
He changed his mind, he did, honestly. He changed his mind last year, I remember him saying.
Interestingly, of the 8 runners-up who sort of broke the mould in the Champions League last year, only 1 got to the quarter-finals. Shot from Tuesday.
Combination of a little bit of pride at the moment from Brondby, carrying the fight a little bit, and I think United have absolutely, they've just more or less stopped now. You know, they've got their minds on other things.
Just to remind you, the latest score in the Nou Camp Stadium is Barcelona 1, Bayern Munich 1. And if that was to remain the way, then Manchester United would be 3 points clear at the top of this group at the end of the night. And 2 draws, one against Barcelona in 3 weeks' time in the Nou Camp, one against Bayern Munich here in 5 weeks' time, would be enough to take them into the quarterfinals. If it remains level in Barcelona. This is David Beckham. Solskjaer was having his shirt pulled by Hansen, but referee unimpressed. Coley caught in possession by Cruyff. Throwing is Manchester United's. Yupstam. David Beckham. Started the evening gloriously. Has he got anything left up his sleeve for us? Keane. Now Beckham. Gary Neville into Jordi Cruyff. What is Solskjaer taking over? Cruyff has Irwin making a run on the left-hand side. 4 waiting in the box. Dennis Irwin looks over his shoulder, hoping there's a big divot there.
There is, it's him. Not very often you see Dennis Irwin make any sort of mistake in it. Really do, understandably so. You know, they've totally switched off now. They're in cruise control.
His round. One of the suppositions about this group when it was drawn, because it was so tough, everybody said, well, there's no way that second place can possibly qualify from this particular group. The 6 group winners go through along with the 2 best placed second placed teams. And that might just have changed now. This is Hansen. Manchester United will have 8 points after this victory has been sealed. It is a possibility that a second place team with something like 11, maybe more likely 12, would get through. So they didn't win the group. Scarbellius into Crow. Shot was from Bo Hansen. Scholes. There's a foul there on Paul Scholes. One other good aspect of this evening is Manchester United have not picked up any further yellow cards. Jordi Cruyff and Teddy Sheringham are the only 2 Manchester United players who have yellow cards to their name in this competition at the moment. Beckham here having served his suspension in Copenhagen. Keane. Stump. Gary Neville. Picked off by Nielsen. Nowhere for Dalgo to go. Links up with Jensen. This is Scarbellius. Tusen. Now Per Nielsen. Tusen, laid off by Hansen. John Jensen. Through towards Tusen. Dalgo. Per Nielsen. And dramatic news from Barcelona, where Bayern Munich have now taken the lead in the Nou Camp Stadium against Barcelona. Barcelona 1, Bayern Munich 2 is the latest score there, and that actually is the option which Alex Ferguson felt best suited Manchester United. If that remains the scoreline, it just about takes Barcelona out of the equation. think the Manchester United manager felt all along if it came down to having to beat Bayern here on the final day, that would do it. Here's Cruyff going through. He's around the goalkeeper. And that's in straight for there.
Yeah, it's a nice quick free kick, nice and bright, catches them napping, he's round the keeper, and you think, then it's gone, Jordi, make it United.
He has had some injury problems and felt at one stage that his future might be best served by leaving Manchester United, but his father, strangely enough, Johan Cruyff, was the man who persuaded him to stay on here, and he's seen far more action in the last few weeks.
I thought, to be fair, I thought it'd been livelier tonight. I thought coming on, seeing that he's been given a chance, and I think that's what it is. If Blomqvist isn't injured, I think Alex Ferguson will say, "Oh, I'm going to give you the opportunity." He's got it now.
This is Cruyff. 4 in the attack here for Manchester United. Slipped into Dwight York here. Saved by the legs. David Beckham saved by the legs. And cleared by the defender, Per Nielsen.
Well, they might be two of the easiest chances that United have had all night. I mean, Yorkie should have buried his. Beckham should have buried his. And full marks to Jordi here. He pops a nice threaded ball through to Yorkie. Yorkie, no real problem. Hits the keeper. Good block from the keeper. Good second recovery from the keeper. But that one of those should have resulted in a goal.
David Beckham couldn't quite help himself. Takes the corner. Alex Ferguson, incidentally, has heard about that goal that Bayern Munich have scored in Barcelona to take the lead. He's apparently well pleased. The fact is, if Bayern Munich win in Barcelona, Manchester United can actually afford to lose there in 3 weeks' time, as long as they beat Bayern Munich here in their final game. Jensen. Hansen is onside here and has got a chance to pull a goal back, and Peter Schmeichel, I think he intimidated him as much as anything. Hansen knew he was coming. Quick to react, the Manchester United goalkeeper. But certainly there are 2 epic games upcoming on ITV in the next 5 weeks. Manchester United in Barcelona at home to Bayern Munich. The way they're going, some epics beyond the turn of the year in the quarter-finals. Cruyff to Scholes. Now a chance for Ole Solskjaer to make it 6. Well,
you know, that might have been the best goal of the night. Some slick, completely out of character with what's gone on in this second half, but some slick passing, little pop off there. Solskjaer coming in on his right foot, should score, misses target. It's incredible. United haven't played at all in this last 15 minutes, and yet might have had 4 goals.
Gary Neville with the header forward. Stoppage time. And Brondby have been simply decimated by Manchester United during the last fortnight. 3 in the first half in Copenhagen, 3 more in the second, 4 in the first half tonight. Just the 1 since the interval. None in the last half hour. But the job has been well and truly done. This is Tusen. Into Hansen, challenged by Stam, in fact, has been penalised.
That is virtually the exact spot Beckham, now moved it 40 yards or so, the exact spot Beckham banged it in to set the United to start the rot.
David Beckham's free kick after just 6 minutes tonight. Manchester United were 3 up inside a quarter of an hour. Andy Cole, Phil Neville, followed by Dwight York, and then Paul Scholes since the break. Brondby unable to reply so far tonight. Dalgo, who scored in the first game from a free kick, looks the likeliest. Peter Schmeichel will be as keyed up here as he has been at any stage during the evening. I want to keep a clean sheet. And he's able just to see that one sail over his crossbar from Kim Dalgo tonight.
No problem. Nonchalance.
Brondby have had no answer. Manchester United have scored 16 times in 4 Champions League games already. 11 of those knocked in against a rather hapless Brondby in the last couple of weeks, and it's set them up to win the group. David Beckham after 6 minutes with that searing free kick, followed by Andy Cole linking with Dwight Yorke so impressively and just lifting in number 2. Then Phil Neville had only ever once scored for Manchester United prior to tonight, helped himself to number 3 before picking up an injury. Dwight Yorke's turn came just before the half-hour mark, and the solitary second-half goal, an individual effort from Paul Scholes. Manchester United rampant. It's been a pretty relaxed evening for Alex Ferguson one way and another. Everything seems to be happening for them. They've beaten Brondby for the second time in 2 weeks by a massive score tonight, 5-0.
Manchester United 5, Brondby 0. That's the final scoreline here at Old Trafford. While in the Nou Camp it's finished Barcelona 1, Bayern Munich 2. And that means that in Group D, United remain top, now with 8 points. Bayern on 7. So United can afford to lose in Barcelona as long as they beat Bayern in their last game, and that is to qualify for the knockout stage. Alex Ferguson thoughts now. The United manager is with Gary Newbon.
Super night for you, Alex. A big win here, and Bayern Munich beat Barcelona, so Barcelona could be out of it.
Yeah, well, it's a good result for Bayern. It means that when they come here, it's going to be some night, I can tell you.
Well, it was some night, or some first half for you today. A bit churlish to criticise the team with a 5-0 win, but the second half wasn't quite the same.
No, but we knew we'd win the game at half-time, and I've made a couple of changes. And sometimes the flow goes out of the game that way, but we've done the necessary thing, and we produced some magnificent football in the first half. I'm very pleased.
Actually, it's a record in the group already to score 16 goals. It's never been done in the European Champions League group before.
Very good, that's excellent, well pleased.
So what pleased you most? The passing, the running, as well as the goals?
And the discipline, the commitment in the first half was marvellous. It was a really true team display, and you can't fault it.